So, welcome. So happy to be here. So happy to enjoy this meeting with Eline. I felt that you are here because you already know her and she doesn't need so much presentation, so much introduction. For me, it's a gift to have this possibility. Eline is a world reference. It's a world reference for mindfulness for children and adolescents and teenagers, parents, caregivers, teachers, adults also. She, in fact, started over 30 years ago offering programs, specifically MBSR programs for adults. And there is something that's identified her, which is her love for children, for childhood. And today our meeting has the word trust in it. And what is striking to me and makes me fall back in love is that Eline trusts fully in children. And one of the things we learn is that trust. When we have those doubts of certain issues related to children, she not only says it, she invites us to trust in them. She's also a mother, a grandmother. She's an adventurer. She's a wife also. She loves cooking. She loves sailing. She's an enthusiast. And you have to keep up with her because she never gets tired. Or if she gets tired, I don't know where she gets her energy from, but her energy goes back and back. So with nothing else on my side, we're going to hear her talk with Christian. So let's enjoy this meeting. Thank you. I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you, Bea. Thank you. I think, yes, I have little to do here. Have you said everything? So I'll just say hello, good afternoon, good morning for people who are coming from all over the world. And pass this on to you, Eline. You heard Bea say so many things. And this has been a special year for all of us. This is the first time that something has happened to the whole planet at the same time. And we have the word trust, and on the other hand, we have the word uncertainty, right? And thinking about teachers, parents, children, what is trust? Is it an ability? Is it something we have? Is it something we have to learn to achieve? I think it's open. We are all here to listen to you. I'll maybe try to embody questions that people have, making this a conversation, but passing it on to you, Eline. We all want to listen to you and to your experience and to what you have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bea and Chris, and I'm so happy to see so many beloved friends in Argentina, and maybe also from Chile or Uruguay. I see some teachers I know very well, and it's really such a pleasure to be in the midst of this whole family, this whole frog family. And so I feel very happy and honored to have this togetherness and to have this talk together about how to sow seeds of trust. And to be honest, I only know this theme, how to sow seeds of trust from yesterday 5 p.m. And after that, I had to train an online MBSR training, so I had not so much time to prepare. But what we can share about trust is that it's one of the most important things we can teach our children. And not only teach it, but live it because we are their examples. And so, yes, I think it's maybe the most important thing in life. We can learn or teach children things about having trust in themselves, how to trust on friends, and how to trust in changes in life. Because there's one thing we know for sure, and that is that terrible things will not last forever. Even this pandemic will be beaten in one way or the other. But in the meantime, we have to find out a path. So when Chris yesterday asked me something about, do you know what trust is, or do you know how to develop trust? I didn't know exactly and immediate the answer, because there is not one answer, I think. But what we know about trust, and I personally experienced this my life long, is that trust is a very slow path. It's not an instant feeling, or it's not an instant value. It is a value, but we only can learn how to trust by little steps in the same time. And yesterday, when I was preparing me a little bit, yesterday evening after the MBSR training, and maybe in my dreams also, I remembered that I read a children's game about trust. It's a very nice game. I think it was written down by Brené Brown, and it was about a pot of marbles, or a pot of little stones. And a lot of children feel betrayed by their friends, or when they tell a secret to someone, and the next morning the whole school knows the secret. So this is very, very painful. And then the teacher of the class of this girl said, well, I have a pot and I put it in the middle of the class. And every time when we feel trusted by someone, when someone is really there for us, when someone doesn't betray us and keep our secrets safe, when someone is able to really listen and not try to solve problems immediately, then you can put one marble in the glazed pot. So this is a wonderful way of counting our blessings, and also show us that there are very little moments in life. We think they are very little, but they can be very, very important. That it's visible how much trust there is in the middle of our classmates, in the middle of our family, in the middle of our community where we live in. So her mother, the mother of the girl, asked, how do you know that you have to put a marble or a little stone in the pot? And then she said, well, I know when I have to put a marble in the glazed pot, when someone is really listening to me, and I can feel this. I feel when someone is really connected with me. I feel somewhere inside when someone is keeping my secret safe, and when someone wants really to help me. So this kind of knowing is built up by those little marbles. And also important when there is no trust, so distrust, to put a marble out, one marble, because it's only once at that time that someone is not cannot be trusted at that moment. Maybe next week he or she is. So we don't need to empty the whole pot and say, well, nobody is to be trusted, or we cannot trust anybody. Just one simple marble you put out of the pot, and then you know, okay, this is only this moment, this person, and the rest of the day, maybe 3 or 4 marbles can be put in again. So I think this is a wonderful way of making it visible for young children how to make clear the path of developing trust, and also to find out if, well, how it is with their own trustworthy. Are they trustworthy to their friends? So yes, trust is really a path of stepping stones that are slowly built up, and when we as parents are able to live in our family as a trustworthy family, you teach children something that it's well, you can call it something of gold. It's so very important because it will bring the basics of making good relationships. It will give you the basics of self-trust. And self-trust is not that you have to do everything right, but it's more that you accept that you can do things wrong, but that you are not wrong. It's only one thing or 2 or 10 maybe that went wrong. So this is really about, well, kind of little story about how to build up trust in yourself.
Thank you, Eline. And I was listening, and you're talking about trust, you're talking about self-trust, you're talking about realizing that it's just this event and it's not the whole life, because we tend to do all or nothing.
Yes.
And you talked about the importance of children having trust, but a lot of the adults who are with the children having trust.
Yeah.
How do you relate the practice of mindfulness in relation to achieving trust? There's so many benefits that people are mentioning about mindfulness, and especially maybe trust is one of these values or attitudes or principles that do we learn them? Do they come up? I mean, that's a question that I've always had. If we really can talk about a true wisdom that comes, that we have, or are we achieving it from the outside and we have to learn it, or both? No, just to.
Yes. Well, maybe it's more one way than both, because we can see in a lot of children's life, when they have no chances at all, when there is no trust around them, when there's nobody to trust on and life is hard for them, that they can build up a certain veerkracht, what is it? Resilience, and build up a certain inner trust that comes from not the outside, but the inside. And I know that some of you, and maybe all of you, remember the Rumi poem, but this has always been, this Rumi poem has always been a guideline for me, and also for me in working with all the children in the world. And maybe it's a good idea to just close our eyes for a moment and pay attention, kind of meditative attention, awareness to this beautiful poem. And it starts like this. There are two kinds of intelligence. One is taught, for instance, when a child learns facts and figures at school, from books and from the teacher. This gathering of information from traditional knowledge as well as new knowledge. And this kind of intelligence gets you ahead in the world. You are ranked before or behind others based on your ability to remember information. And with this intelligence, you wander in and out of fields of knowledge and get more and more points who are noted on your scoreboard. But there is another kind of intelligence. There's another kind of scoreboard, one that is already complete and is kept inside you. A spring which overflows the banks of its source. A freshness deep inside your chest. This other intelligence doesn't fade or stagnate. It is fluid, and it does not flow from the outside inside through your intellectual plumbing. This second knowledge is a source which wells up inside and flows out to the outside world. So maybe we can take some time today and other days to take a break for a couple of minutes to reach out to this intelligence by just sitting down. Take the time to breathe and remind ourselves that there is this inner wisdom inside you, complete and untouched, like a spring with clear water welling up. Inside you and inside every child you meet. So, yes, for me, this is so a clear message. And as an answer on your question, is trust coming from outside only or only inside or maybe both? I think this inside source, which can be reached by meditation and by mindfulness practice, not only on the cushion, but also in the school that's called life. So yes, then we can connect again. And certainly in this pandemic time, in this time when we are not allowed to go out, but we are always allowed to go in. And this makes us, in a way, the owner of our own source of building up trust from inside out. Because mindfulness gives us the chance to come inside, to connect with our inside world, and to teach us how to deal with very difficult times, how to deal with very difficult feelings, how to deal with sometimes self-hate or lack of compassion. And there are some people who can reach this also without meditation. I met in my youth a wonderful old woman, and I always will remember her, and she never heard of meditation. She was a grandmother, and she was also a mother of 9 children from an orphan house. And those children were sometimes mutants, so they couldn't speak. And she raised them without asking back anything from them, only to trust her. And she lived this trustworthy value. So they came in her home when they were 3 or 4 maybe, and stayed until they were having a boy or a girlfriend. So sometimes it was 17, sometimes it was 21. And when she died, I received from that family a little light, an oil light, and I still have it. It's a long time ago, but this reminds me that, well, it's not always necessary to meditate or to practice mindfulness. It's also sometimes good enough to trust on your inner source, which is untouched in yourself.
Yeah, I think, and I can imagine this woman, and at some point I see maybe an image of someone who knew how to pay attention to what was important in life. Yes. And learn from that experience. And it's nice that you mentioned this, because paying attention to it depends on what I pay attention to and how, right? And that not necessarily has to be meditation, but on the other hand, it is a way of being and living, right?
Yes, and for me, it's a very important way of living and being. And I think what we can learn also in this pandemic is that when we want to deal with difficulties in life, with well, very strong feelings of fear, for example, or when we have to deal with loss, when someone dies in your neighborhood, a friend or a parent, that you cannot learn how to climb mountains or how to surf the waves. You cannot learn it in a storm. So you have to learn it when life is more or less easy going. And that's why it's so important to teach children at a very young age the fruits of mindfulness and the benefits of it. And we know a lot of benefits from practice mindfulness at this moment. So yes, because we cannot learn them during this storm, this is which is going through the whole world now, but it gives us a real idea how important it is to learn the basics of mindfulness and to continue with this in a period when our life is more or less easygoing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's like catching yourself. I mean,
yes.
Thinking about these two intelligence, catching yourself if you're living only from one, and you can switch to the inner one and practice trust, or yes, notice. I think it has a lot to do. Sometimes we think that mindfulness is all about peace and trust, like we're doing, but it includes noticing when I'm not trustworthy or when I'm afraid, and when I notice where I am. I think that's maybe part of the practice.
Well, it's a very important. I'm glad you're mentioning it, Chris, because a lot of people think that mindfulness is about everything is okay. And of course, not everything is okay. But what we teach children and ourselves on the spot is that every experience is okay. Every inner feeling is okay to be felt. And a little bit stronger even, we teach children to befriend with their inner feelings and to befriend with feelings of fear. And this is, well, this is what we can learn from children, because they are so close to their pureness, and they are so close, they have a less longer learning history than we have. So they pick it up very, very easy. And I remember this story when one of my grandsons, called Nesta, is coming with us. He is always asking, can I sleep with you, Grandma? Can I come today? And then he asks for doing a meditation before he goes he fall asleep. And he's always asking for the same meditation. And this is the secret of the heart chamber. And when we done this meditation together, he opens his eyes always after that. He doesn't fall asleep immediately. But then he says very enthusiastic, Grandma, it's not only a little light that is in my heart, but it's a whole open fire. So everybody can sit around this fire and warm himself. And well, then I know he understands perfectly what compassion is, and giving warmth to other people and to himself too. Yes. So it's important to bring mindfulness into classes too, into the educational system, because this is the system where kids easily learn. It's an environment which is all about learning. So why not teaching them mindfulness and teach them how to be able to trust on feelings, and that they are true, that feelings are truly happening at that moment. And you don't have to suppress them, you don't have to shout it out, but you can become friends with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Eline. Would you think it's a good time to share the secret of the heart chamber, or the safe place, or whatever so we can hear it straight from the Meister?
I'm just a human being, a human mother and a human grandmother, and certainly not an expert. But I think it's a good idea to maybe to meditate together the meditation of the safe place, because I think it was Maga that sent me this message about this child who was meditating this safe place. It was an Armenian boy, and he was yes.
Maga, yes, I thought, but yes, in Armenia, I think it's Ilyana, yeah.
Oh, okay. And this boy was suffering so much about all the things about the war that was around him, and he was very frightened. And when he did the safe place meditation, he felt as if he came home within himself, and that it was such a wonderful feeling that the safe place was not something outside, but it was something inside that could keep him close to himself and remind him that he could always go there and feel a kind of inner safeness. And this is also what we hear a lot from kids that doesn't feel safe at home, for example, because there is a lot of violence, or parents are wounded in their own childhood, for example, and cannot keep themselves in a safe inner place so they cannot teach their children how to do it. But when children know how to do this, it's so powerful for them that they can keep themselves safe, even without parents doing this. Okay.
Kunnen doen, de meditatie.
Shall we start doing the meditation? Is this a good idea?
Yes.
To do the safe place meditation? Okay. Okay, make yourself comfortable in the most comfortable way. So if you feel about sitting or lying or hanging, it's okay the way you want to place yourself in a comfortable posture. Sometimes it's so nice to have a safe place all to yourself. A place where you can't be disturbed and where you can be fully yourself. To go to this place, I would like to invite you to lie down on the floor, sit on a blanket, or sit in a chair. And in the way you sit or lie down, you can direct your attention to your body at this moment. There's no need to think about your body. Just direct the bright light of your attention to your body and notice how it feels now. Maybe you can feel your head lying on the ground or feel your buttocks sitting in the chair. You don't need to do anything. And when you realize that you are still thinking about something, remember, there's no need to run after all your thoughts. Just let them pass, like the clouds. Your whole body is calming down. No need to do anything or think of anyone or go anywhere. And when you enter a kind of feeling of being relaxed, you can travel in your mind to a place where you feel completely safe. It can be a place where you've been before, or where you'd like to go, or a place just from your imagination. It can also be a place where you've been on your holidays, or the home of someone you like to visit. This place might simply pop up into your mind. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful and peaceful. Where you just feel good and safe. It's a place where you are loved. Where you are just good the way you are. Why not go to this place in your mind and feel how nice and safe it is. What can you see with your inner eyes? What is around you? Maybe you're seeing beautiful colors, some kind animals, or maybe other children. What do you see at this moment? You don't need to take care of anyone. Just take care about yourself. Be with yourself in this safe place where it's beautiful, safe, and warm. Things are good here. Nothing needs to be changed. You can always come back to this place whenever you feel the need. It's always nearby. Why don't you wish yourself all the safety and happiness in the world? In the warm glow of your heart, you can see yourself the way you are. Beautiful and sweet, and just exactly right. It's safe and good to be here. And remember, you can always come back to this place, this inner safe place. If you wish, you can stay a little bit longer. Look around. Feel how you're feeling now. And after a while, when you hear the sound of the bells, you can take this warm, safe feeling from the inside to the outside world, wherever you are. This safe place is always within reach. All you need to do is direct your attention to it. And see, here it is. Well, personally, I think this is one of my favorite meditations, and I practice it for more than 30 years. And it always helped me to, well, to keep up this feeling of being able to trust on myself, because I had this place where I could go to. It was really very important for me to have this inner place. Is there someone who wants to respond on this or who wants to have a question, or feel free to respond. Maybe not all 300 in the same time, but
Jose, you can unmute yourself.
I was just saying that Chris was speaking like this. I wanted to say que quería, in English, I wanted to say thank you, Eline. It was a marvelous meditation, and it's one of my favorite too, because it remembers us our safe place and trust in our sources. And I practice this with my children, and it's something that is now part of our family. So thank you very much.
thank you for sharing this. Okay, is there someone else? No, it's okay.
Moet je nog iets zeggen over ouders die mindfulness zijn? Dus from the outside to the inside.
Let me see this.
Maybe I have a question, or maybe if there's anyone else, if someone wants to ask about the practice, about their personal practice, about the experience they had while Eline was meditating, welcome. We're at probably in the last 10 minutes, so the chance to ask Eline is now. If there's anyone with a burning question, I have a couple, so I could. Okay.
Andrea Diaz.
I have one.
Yes.
I can't see who you are, but if you are unmuted, you can ask the question. Can you please say your name? Lishwander. But I haven't found the hand. I'm sorry. No problem. You can ask the question and they will translate the question. First and foremost, my heartfelt gratitude. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And well, it's such a.
To me, trust is availability. What do you think about that? What do you think? What's your opinion? Trust as availability. When the other is available, when the safe place within is available, when you create this meditation that makes me cry, when we have that safe place available at hand's reach, if I have to define the emotion or the feeling of trust, I generally think of the word availability. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think it's, thank you for sharing this. I think availability is a very important word and a very important value, because when we can be available in a non-judgmental way to ourselves, we can become our best friend. When we can be available to others, we can connect with each other's heart, with each other's mind, and with each other's feelings. So to be available is really to reach out to everything of yourself and everything of another person. And especially in this time of the pandemic, it even becomes more important to be available for each other. Thank you very much for putting this up. Great, great value, availability. Yes.
Melina here, Eline,
Okay.
asks if during the meditation of the safe place, you can look to be with somebody else in your thoughts, or is it to find a place to find yourself safe by yourself?
Yes. If I understand your question right, the question is if you can be with someone in the same place, or that it's meant to be with yourself. Yes.
What I understood from Melina's question, Peseto, perhaps Melina, you can clarify this, I don't say it's right. If you can look for this safe place within your thoughts with somebody in your thoughts, or if you have to find a safe place within you, but where you can be alone. Yes, that's correct. If in your thoughts, during the meditation, you can find the safe place that can be the hug of somebody, also this encounter, this mental encounter. Or is it a place where you can be by yourself?
Yes. Well, it's in this meditation, it is meant to bring the connection and to strengthen the connection with this place in yourself where you can feel safety. Sometimes a lot of kids don't feel it in the outside world, this feeling of being safe. And then it's very important that they have the ability to find a safe place in themselves. But of course, there are a lot of other meditations, like the wishing tree, for example. It's completely written down in the book Sitting Still Like a Frog. And this wishing tree, there we can wish other people this safe place, or we can wish peace for a certain person, or for the whole world, or for all the kids in the world. So this is, well, just a different way of dealing with the and finding the right meditation for yourself. But of course, meditation cannot go wrong. It's always the right way. So if you prefer to do the safe place with someone in your mind to be safe with, it's perfectly all right. Meditation cannot go wrong. It is about this awareness, this paying attention to with your whole heart and with your whole self. Is this an answer on your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to hear you. I'm very grateful.
Eline, we wrapping up. So if we have time for one more question, maybe with the last question.
Yes, and well, I'm not in a rush, but
Okay.
I have time. Yes, of course.
2 questions.
2? Yes.
I know that Eline is available. Perhaps we ask one more and we can go.
Okay, good.
The person who was asking, I don't know, Amalia, if it was you, you can unmute yourself. Can you hear me now? Yes. Good. Eline, this safe place meditation has to do with connecting really with our inner self, with our flame of love that is spiritual, that is our essence. So to learn to connect ourselves with the essence, which is the most powerful thing we have, we can draw all the calm, the strength from there. It's inside ourselves. We only need to get in touch with that part. And then if we want, we can offer it, because many times that we feel, that deep love we feel, that it's our essence, can be brought to the others, can be shared with the others. That's how I feel this meditation, the connection with this spiritual aspect of love. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amalia.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much, Eline.
We can have 2 more questions.
Yes.
So it's a question related to children who lost family members due to COVID-19 or other reasons. Is there any practice you suggest, Eline?
Yes, well, I have a little story of, again, my grandson, who was very afraid of losing us when in the period we couldn't see each other. And he was very sad and afraid of losing us without knowing, so that we were suddenly disappeared, and that he had no picture of him with us. So, and of course that could be solved, because we could make a picture immediately on a short distance for him with us together. But when we are in contact with children that lost a parent or another important family part, we can support them in a way, of course, with asking them what would they do when the parent would be still alive. I work with children who were going to the same very, very sad and dramatic period in their lives. And when I ask them this question, they come up with beautiful beautiful ways of supporting themselves. For example, as an answer, they say, well, I would go to my mother when she was still alive. I would go to my mother and ask her to bring me to the bed and have some bad conversations and make some jokes with each other. The next question was, from my side, what would be of a help at this moment? How could you be in contact with your mother, even if she is not here, because we cannot bring her to life? But what would help you to stay in contact with her? And then a few children, independent from each other, said, well, we could make a drawing with a rainbow, with me on one side of the drawing and my mother on the other side of the drawing, and then hang it above my bed so that I can talk to her through the rainbow drawing every night before I fall to sleep. So this is a way kids find their own way of dealing with this very hard situation, by just be in contact with them and ask from genuine interest, genuine contact, what would you do and what do you need to be in contact again? And that's very important for them, because they feel taken very serious in their love for their parents, and the sadness, but also in the way that they can find a way to be in contact again. Yes. Is this kind of well, it's not the answer, but it's a way of dealing with this very sad situation. I talk about it, because sometimes kids cannot talk about it, so we have to invite them to to just make this open and having a talk with them. It's sometimes very simple, the way they find solutions and find ways to deal with their sadness. A very pure child way. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Eline. It's one last question. Ignacio Escudero, you're not Ignacio, you're Blanca. You're Blanca. I'm sorry, it's the name from one of my family members. I just wanted to thank you, Eline, but I wanted to ask you also. The question of trust with children is easier to work with than with children. Sometimes parents say that they trust them, but what you see is that they don't truly feel that trust from their parents. And sometimes it's very much related, what parents say is very much related to what their performance, what children's performance, what their children's behavior. So how should we convey parents the trust in their children beyond their performance and their behaviors? I'm very grateful for your presence, Eline.
Very, very, very important question also, like every important question that is asked now. But yes, in my new book, the Little Frog, I write about this situation that, and it's called like ice in the ocean, because some parents have so much wounds from their own youth that important parts of be able to trust on their children are frozen. So they cannot reach it. And again, teaching parents mindfulness and bring them in contact with their own frozen parts in a very kind way can be of an extreme good help, and also very important for the children, their children, to feel trusted. And because children have a very good radar for knowing if the trust is genuine or just a word that they say, I trust you, but in the meantime they feel another thing. So this course for parents and teachers also is a very good start to bring parents in contact with their own frozen parts and lead them very kind and very smooth to becoming a friend of their own wounded parts. And sometimes something more is needed. There are a lot of very good and very mindful psychologists here on the screen. And so sometimes it's needed to ask them if they need some help themselves and to guide them in a very kind way in this direction, because it will help the children enormous. Yeah.
You're muted.
Thank you, Eline. Thank you very much. I maybe have just 3 things to wrap up and close. One is that we want to say hi to Hank.
Thank you.
Hank is back there, backstage. Hank is compañero, is your lifelong companion and inspirer and everything, right? So hi to
learned me a lot about trust. He
Trust.
learned me. He learned me a lot about trust. Yes.
We can't see him, can we? Oh.
Kom even hier.
Ja, kan zo moeilijk zitten hier.
He is my lifelong companion and sidekick in everything I write or develop. Je moet even in dat schermpje kijken.
Ja, maar ik moet even zitten.
Nou gaan we even zitten hier.
Ja?
He cannot stand very long, so he has to sit and I have to move.
Okay.
So
Chris, where are you?
he's here.
Oh, I see you. Thank you very much, Chris, for your
It's the
time.
dynamic duo here together.
Yeah.
We asked for 1 and we have 2 now.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much.
He secretly jumped into the surrounding. Yes.
Good. Okay, and the other things is 1, your book is coming out, so we will probably do something. We can't say much because the editorial said we shouldn't talk too much because it's a surprise. So people here know about the book already. It's the waking up of the little frog, El despertar de la ranita, yeah. And maybe the third thing I have to share, and it's again has to do with something that you are not going to say, that maybe most of the people here know your book about your sitting still as a frog book, but it's not just a child book. It's a book for grown-ups. Yeah. If we really take the time to read it and underline it and then read it again and read it again and read it again. And sometimes it's a book for children. It's a book for children. And since you're not going to say it, and many people here, maybe they're listening to you for the first time, I would say that that's a really good point to start. And if you haven't read it, underlining it, and you already have the book, it's to read it again and again and again. So I just wanted to add that. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the whole world, because this is from little town of Amersfoort. You are a world star, so thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I really want to thank all of you, and not only thank you, but embrace you with all my heart and all my warmth, and keep up the spirit for all of you. And this time will change in another time. So stay hopeful and stay strong and stay healthy. And in our hearts, we are very close with all of you. Because Argentina stole my heart, and not only Argentina, but the people who live in Argentina stole my heart. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Eline, and hope to have you with us again.
Okay, see you later, all of you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We can unmute ourselves and say goodbye.
Dale, sí, buenísimo. Todos dicen unmute.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye. Bye. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye. Thank you.